On the 121st episode of the HatTrick Sports Podcast, we're going to be talking about one of the biggest NBA scandals of all time, making our Week 8 NFL pick'ems, ranking the top winningest college football coaches of all time, and the 2025 MLB World Series. Make sure you use the code HatTrick Sports when checking out at w.gg for 10% off your order. Roll it! Welcome to HatTrick Sports, starring your host, Isaiah Carpenter. Bringing you the biggest sports headlines every week. This is the HatTrick Sports Podcast. Let's start it off with one of the biggest NBA scandals of all time. It's actually two different cases. Over 30 people arrested by the FBI this last week. A whole bunch of stuff to break down here. We are first going to talk about the Chauncey Billups case, where him and the Italian mafia got caught cheating and rigging poker games. Now, there's a lot to dive into here. Let's first start it off. Chauncey Billups, very well-respected NBA coach, head coach, manager, whatever you want to call him, for the Trailblazers. And yeah, he is probably never going to be associated with the NBA again, and potentially in prison for possibly a very, very long time. Obviously, everybody that I will be talking about is innocent until proven guilty. But yeah, it sounds like the Italian mafia paid him to rig games and to win to pay them money. And a lot of questions are still in the air. Apparently, between this and the other case I'll talk about is an ongoing 2-year investigation. And so yeah, what basically happened, the mafia paid Billups to rig poker games, and they used all sorts of technology, including X-ray tables, infrared glasses to see which cards are which. And Billups basically had these guys associated with the NBA, whether it was coaches, players, whatever. Now, all the names have been released yet, and basically made them lose to pay the mafia. Now, what I'm kind of confused about is, hey, why did the mafia choose Billups? Like, Billups doesn't need any money. Billups, like, he doesn't need to get into any of this trouble and all that. Like, why not just choose a random guy down the street? But I guess because of the connections that he had, yeah, is the reason why he was involved in all of this. So, yeah, so the Cash Patel, the head of the FBI, had a press conference, I believe it was Thursday morning at 10 o'clock, and said that 30 people have been charged in 2 separate but related criminal investigations. And this was one of them. So this was one of them. Another one involved Terry Rozier and Damon Jones. Now, they were selling insider information to other bookies and bettors and stuff like that, including LeBron James. This is probably the biggest name in both of these cases, is LeBron James, and he is not at fault in any way of either of these cases. But since Rozier and some other players had insider information on his injury, they sold that information to make a quick dollar, and LeBron James just kind of got mixed up into all this. I don't think LeBron knew any of this was going on. But yeah, selling insider injury information and betting the under on himself. So he would take himself out of games for injuries and basically make free money, which is worse. This is probably the worst case out of the two. The first case involving Billups doesn't really have anything to do with the NBA. It just had some guys that were associated with the NBA doing this, but that's all criminal investigation with the FBI, and that's just all a criminal case. Now, this other case involves the NBA a little bit more, and I think this is where most of the arrests were made, was from selling insider injury information, with over 30 arrests made by the FBI on that Thursday morning. So, wild stuff. We're still getting information. I feel like every day now we're getting new information. But yeah, Damon Jones, Terry Rozier, and Chauncey Billups are the big names so far. And where were we going to go with this? Man, this sucks. Yeah, and everybody always loves to talk about, because every month now I feel like there's somebody new in sports that is getting caught with sports betting or selling information or whatever. And what fans' argument, not arguments is, but what a lot of people are talking about is, hey, the NBA, not the NBA, sports leagues in general are promoting more betting apps and stuff like that. There's just more advertising of sports betting. And while there is more players being caught betting on sports. So what my thoughts are on this is, hey, you guys are making millions of dollars, and maybe not everybody here is making millions of dollars out of the 30 plus people arrested, but you guys are making more than enough money that it's just an addiction at this point. It's just a gambling addiction at this point where it's not associated with money. And I don't think that there's any correlation with advertising of betting and players betting on sports that are associated. So yeah, I feel like they signed a contract. They know that it's wrong and they're just trying not to get caught. And I guess we don't know if they're all getting caught, but at least a good majority of them must be getting caught because, again, every few weeks, every month, there are new players coming out that are getting arrested and fined and suspended for betting on sports. We see that, Porter. Here we go. Come on. Yeah, so basically the whole two separate cases. More news will be coming, I'm sure, in the next few months, potentially years. They both have court cases. I believe Chauncey is first on November 24th, and then early December, Rozier and Damon have cases with the at a federal courthouse. Billups is scheduled for the 24th, and then on December 8th, Rozier has agreed to appear at the same federal courthouse. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Again, I don't think either of them will be associated with the NBA after this case, but yeah. Let's go into the World Series, the MLB World Series. We have gone through 2 games so far. The Blue Jays took game 1. The Dodgers took game 2. A whole bunch of stuff going on. A whole bunch of in-depth. We could go in-depth a lot on both games. The first game was Snell versus Savage, and Snell didn't look good. The Dodgers bullpen never looks good, but didn't look good. Definitely did not look good in game 1. Savage looked all right. Savage looked pretty good. He went pretty deep, but the Dodgers just could not kick it in. And then the Blue Jays, that 6th inning, really took them, and they ended up winning 11-4. Shohei hit a home run that game, but yeah, frustrating loss as a Dodgers fan for game 1. But game 2, Yamamoto, an absolute dog. Yamamoto pitched a complete game. He had 8 strikeouts, no walks, 4 hits, 1 earned run. It was a little scary at first. His pitch count went up in the first couple of innings, and then it was just smooth sailing from there. The occasional hit, but nothing too severe from Yamamoto. I believe he ended the game with 105 pitches. Just absolutely amazing. Will Smith had 3 RBIs in game 2. Muncy with the home run. Shohei, again, he had the 1 home run in game 1. Didn't do much in game 2, which was last night. Kike didn't do much. Teo didn't do much. These guys, those are the guys that have to start kicking it in, though, especially for games 3, 4, and 5 in LA. You have to take advantage of the home field in the World Series, especially that after game 5, if it goes into game 6 or 7, that you're not going back to LA. So you have to take advantage. And the Dodgers could win in 5. I think it's very hard with the Dodgers bullpen for them to win in 5 games after losing game 1. But yeah, the Dodgers bullpen, we gotta stay away from the Dodgers bullpen. Glasnow is supposed to pitch on Monday for game 3, and then Ohtani for game 4. And then I think Snell will be back for game 5, which would be on Thursday. Game 5 would be on Thursday, and hopefully Snell can do a little bit better than he did in game 1. But the Dodgers have gone through the Blue Jays pitching. They've gone through Gausman and Savage. Everybody else is pretty average, pretty mid. But yeah, if the Dodgers offense can really kick it in LA, no doubt that the Dodgers will win the World Series. It's just scary when the bullpen. You just know that towards the end of the game, you're never safe. You could be up by 6 runs, but you're not safe with the Dodgers bullpen going 7, 8, and 9. 7, 8, and 9th inning. But the Blue Jays do have a very good offense. Their hitting approach is one of the best, if not the best, in the league. I feel like I could count on my hands how many swing and misses they had, especially in Game 1. If the Dodgers could hire their hitting coach, I 100% would take the deferred money and just hire the Blue Jays hitting coach. Unbelievable. Again, they just don't swing and miss much. Again, in Game 2, they did swing and miss a little bit more in Game 1, but they definitely have the hitting approach. But that being said, they also don't swing at a lot of strikes. They are very selective with the pitches that they swing at, and I don't blame them. You don't want to give them free outs. You don't want something that might be on the corner, might not be, and head into pop up to the first baseman or something. Like, I get that, but the Blue Jays are very selective with their approaches at the plate. Yeah, the series is going into LA for games 3 through 5. 3, 4, and 5, and hopefully the Dodgers can take the win. The starters need to go long. Glasnow and Ohtani need to go long. I'm not super optimistic about Ohtani. I feel like he's going to go maybe 4 or 5 innings, and that's just not what we need. When we talk about the bullpen, it raises the question about Clayton Kershaw. Where does his role fit in here? Obviously, he made the World Series roster, but I'm trying to figure out a scenario where he pitches. Now, the only thing I could think of was in Game 5, if the Dodgers are up 3-1 and the Dodgers are up by 4 or more runs in the 9th inning, they bring in Kershaw to win out the World Series. That's the fairy tale ending to Kershaw's career. But with how the series has been going, and again, I know there's only been 2 games, I don't think that'll happen. I feel like this is going to be a tight series, and if this goes into 6 or 7 games, then we're in trouble. Then the Dodgers are in trouble, and Kershaw never pitches again. So yeah, and then we talk about Alex Vesia, a very strong guy for the bullpen throughout the season for the Dodgers. He is the only really reliable guy in the Dodgers bullpen. But I'm not going to do any speculation or do the what-if game here. But he is not on the roster. He's dealing with family issues. His wife was pregnant, was supposed to have a due date last week, and he's not on the roster. That's all we know. Again, I'm not going to put out any speculation or play the what-if game. What if he was on the roster? What would have happened in Game 1? But it hurts the Dodgers not having Alex Vesia, but I do understand that Vesia has more important things to go after in his life right now, and there's a chance he has the ability, the MLB has the ability to reinstate him in the roster after Game 3, but I don't think that's going to happen. But there is a chance that Alex Vesia comes back for the Dodgers, and I don't blame him, and no Dodgers fan will blame him if he doesn't come in the roster. But the MLB says that, if it's a personal family reason, like there's a certain list, you can be out for a minimum of 3 days and a maximum of 7. So there is a small chance that Vesia does end up coming back. But again, I realize that there's stuff in his life that is way more important than this World Series win. But it does hurt. It does hurt the Dodgers not having Vesia. Let's talk about the 2025 MLB offseason manager changes and who's going to go where, and what teams don't have a manager right now, and who does and doesn't have a manager right now. The San Diego Padres, Mike Shildt, was saying he had death threats and he just couldn't handle the pressure as the Padres manager, so he stepped down from the Padres. The potential candidates for this manager position, AJ Ellis, who right now is a special assistant to Preller. He played for the Dodgers for a while and Phillies and Marlins, and then a little bit for the Padres. Or how long did he play? AJ, how long did he play for the Dodgers for? I definitely remember him with the Dodgers. Where are we? We're talking about the Padres. AJ Ellis, Padres. He played for the Padres. Here we are. towards the end in 2018, I think his last season, he played for the Dodgers, 66 games with the Padres. But yeah, most of his time was with the Dodgers. I don't want to see him go to the Padres. I feel like he would be a good coach, maybe not a manager position. We also have Ryan Flaherty, who is the Cubs bench coach right now, but he could take that position for the Padres. He played 8 seasons for the Orioles, Braves, and Guardians. The Twins also don't have Rocco anymore. He stepped down after this season. He kind of got fired after they picked up his option for the 2026 season. Potential candidates, he has a ton of potential, or I guess the Twins have a ton of potential candidates. Craig Albertez, he is the associate manager for the Guardians. You have Kai Correa, who is a field coordinator and director of defense, base running, and game strategy for the Guardians. Torrey Hunter, who is a special assistant to the Angels GM and played for the Twins for 10 years, 20 or 30 years ago. No, it couldn't have been that long. Probably 20 years ago. James Rawson, who is the hitting coach for the Yankees right now, and used to be a hitting coach for the Twins. Derek Shelton, who was the Pirates manager for the last 5 seasons, and was the Twins bench coach before that. So he has a little bit of background in Minnesota. Drew Butera, he was the catching coach for the White Sox in 2025 and played for the Twins for a few years, again, about 15 years ago. And then Jace Tingler, who is the current bench coach and was the Padres manager for like a season. I remember him with the Padres, but I don't think it was for long, maybe a few games. But I don't know. I liked Rocco. I understand he didn't do the best with the team this season, but I felt like he was a good manager. I think Craig Albertez is the top candidate, but we'll see what happens in the next few months. The Braves and Snitker let go of each other. They say it was a mutual decision not to return. But Mark DeRosa, I think, is the most qualified candidate for the Braves. He managed Team USA in the World Baseball Classic in 2023. Also coming back next year, the World Baseball Classic in 2026. He also played for the Braves in 98 through 04. You have John Gibbons, who managed the Blue Jays for a few seasons. He had a break in between there. David Ross, who was big for the Cubs in 2020 and 2020 to 2023. He played for the Braves in 09 through 012, so he has a little bit of background there. I feel like David Ross didn't do a horrible job with the Cubs. It was kind of at that... It was a weird time for the Cubs because it was right after they kind of peaked in that 2016 to 2020 kind of range. So he did kind of have a hard job there, but he has managing experience, so he wouldn't be a horrible fit for the Braves. And then you have Walt Weiss, who is the bench coach right now for the Braves and managed the Rockies for a few seasons about 10 years ago. And then the Rockies, Nationals, and Blue Jays need new managers, but nobody wants to manage them, and I don't think there's any real top candidates for managers for those teams. All right, let's talk about the NFL. The Giants and Giants players and coaches were fined a total of $15,000 for what I think is not a valid reason to be fined for. So Jackson Dart last week was under concussion protocol. They went into the blue tent, and now coaches and players other than the player being checked out, aren't supposed to go in the blue tent. But Dable went in there just checking, hey, is he good? Is he not good? He wanted to know what to do, if he should go in for 4th down, kick a field goal, punt, whatever. He's just trying to figure out what's going on. So Dable ended up getting fined $100,000 for sticking his head in the tent. The Giants were fined a total of $200,000. And then Scatterbo kind of peeks his head in there, and the whole tent kind of falls for a second. He gets fined $15,000, $315,000 total. Now, the NFL did come out and say that, let me find the quote here. They said, 1 second. Yeah, the League and Players Union said in a joint statement that Dable and Scatabo entering the 10 created a perception that they were interfering with Dart's exam, even though they concluded neither actually had an impact on the exam. Their conduct was inconsistent with and demonstrated a disregard for concussion protocols requirements and therefore constituted a violation. So they gave him a violation like for a just in case kind of thing. I get it. You don't want Scatabo in there, and you don't want like the whole team in there looking at Jackson Dart while he's under concussion protocol. But like, I feel like Dable, like I feel like he should be allowed to go in the 10. Now I get it, the medical professionals don't want him in there, but like he wants to know what's going on. He wants to know like what he has to do on the very next play and stuff. So I feel like he shouldn't have gotten fined. I get the Giants were fined and Scatabo, but I don't know. I just feel like it was a very overrated thing talked about this week. Like I feel like everybody cared that Scatabo put his head in there. Like, if the cameras weren't on it, nobody would have ever known, and it wouldn't have been as big of a thing that it has been in the last week. All right, let's move on to our Week 8 NFL Pick'ems. Obviously not doing Thursday night football, even though I would have lost. I thought that the Carson Wentz and the Vikings were going to win. Nope, did not. Got destroyed, stomped on by the Chargers, 37-10. We'll start it off with the Dolphins and Falcons. Mike McDaniel, he should have got fired before this season, but nope, still going strong. This game's being played in Atlanta. Give me the Falcons. You have the Bears and Ravens. Now, the Ravens, Lamar Jackson isn't playing. I don't care if he's playing or not. The Ravens defense absolutely sucks. They're 1-5. The Bears, I believe, are 4-2. I don't care that it's being played in Baltimore. Give me the Bears. You have the Jets and Bengals. Give me the Bengals. Bills and Panthers. This should be an easy Bills win. You have the 49ers and Texans. I'm hoping and I think that the Texans end up getting the win. You have the Browns and Patriots. This might be my first time thinking that the Patriots are going to win, but I think that Drake May and the Patriots take the win. You have the Giants and Eagles for a little division matchup. Again, Jackson Dart, Cam Scatabo, you don't know what they're going to do. You don't know if it's going to be a great game or a horrible game, but it's being played in Philly, so give me the Eagles. You have the Bucks and Saints. Give me the Bucks. You have the Titans and Colts. Give me the Colts. You have the Cowboys and Broncos. I think that the Broncos will win. It's in Colorado. Give me the Broncos. You have the Packers and Steelers. This is a bigger game than what people think. Aaron Rodgers, if he wins this game, he would have beat every single NFL team because obviously he was with the Packers forever. So yeah, I think that it's in Pittsburgh. Aaron Rodgers, I think, wants to beat up on his old team. So give me the Steelers. And then for Monday Night Football, you have the Commanders and Chiefs. I feel like the Chiefs don't play on a regular Sunday day games anymore. I feel like every game that the Chiefs have are either a Thursday, Monday, or Sunday night football game being played in Kansas City. The Commanders aren't good at all, so give me the Chiefs. Those are your Week 8 NFL Pick'ems. Let's go on to ranking the top 5 winningest college football coaches of all time. Now, we are going to go way back with this, all the way to the early 1900s with 5th place, Amos Alonso. In 41 years at Chicago, Amos Alonso Stagg. In 41 years at Chicago, he led his team to 4 undefeated seasons and 2 national championships in 1905 and 1913. The NCAA lists Harvard as the champions, but the school claims the championship. It's a very weird thing. Obviously, it's way before the internet and before they really tallied up all this stuff, so nobody really knows what happened and who won or who should be given the title. But Stagg says that the championship is his. He coached for 71 years total, longest in college football history, and he is only one of 4 people elected into the College Football Hall of Fame as both a player and manager. So at number 4, we have Amos Alonso Stagg had 314 wins. Pop Warner had 318 wins, just 4 more. He had a huge impact on college football. Just in general, he helped advance the fundamentals of sports in the early 20th century, and he was very involved with like the youth. I feel like he did a lot of winning. His teams won at least 60% of all of their games in 35 of his 44 seasons. He coached for Pittsburgh and Stanford. Again, 318 total career wins. Now we are making it to podium. We have Bear Bryant, 323 wins. For a long time, he was probably considered one of the greatest college football coaches of all time. He was the winningest coach in sports history when he retired in 1982. He had 6 national championships at Alabama, were the most all-time until Nick Saban won his 7th in 2020. His all-time win percentage was at 780 and still ranks in the top 20. At number 2, we have Bobby Baldwin. He spent his first 6 years of his FBS coaching career at West Virginia. But he had a record of 42-26 at West Virginia. But he's best known for Florida State, where he led the Seminoles to 304 wins and only 97 losses and 4 ties with a 756 record, 2 national championships, 93 and 99, and 12 ACC titles. They also finished in top 5 of the AP poll and in 14 straight seasons. And then the number 1 winningest coach in college football history is Joe Paterno. He had 46 years at Happy Valley, the longest was with Penn State for a long time. He finished his career with winning 409 games, losing 136 with 3 ties, 479 record. He led Penn State to 37 bowl appearances and 24 wins, including 2 national championships in 82 and 86, 5 undefeated seasons for Paterno. So those are your top 5 winningest coaches in college football history. All right, that is going to do it for the 121st episode of the HatTrick Sports Podcast. Make sure you follow us on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. Go to shophattricksports.com to get the best merch available. You can listen to podcasts wherever you listen to podcasts. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube for all the visuals. Your Amazon Alexa, literally wherever you listen to podcasts, you can listen to this one right here. We will see you guys next week for episode 122.